Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 25 of What If Naruto Had Cosmic Energy. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out What If Naruto Was a Legendary. Neglected Uzumaki over an Anime King and enjoyed that. And I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Went Through Hell and was adopted by the Raikage, so go ahead and enjoy it as well. And remember, if you're new, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is so we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, we started out with Konan as she left the Hinrin to make her way, as Nagato needed time to rest after his constant use of his chakra through his paths. She left behind clones instead to watch over the village while she departed. She made her way towards the smaller nations where Naruto had help. Konan wanted to see how everything had turned out. As she came there, she saw the people. A man even offered her an apple. In this shinobi world, people were rather mean and rude, but yet the people were smiling and looked delightful as she saw it almost on every walls, photographs, paintings of him. A man from a clan known as the Fuma clan came there. He was rather old as he told her that he knew that she was using a transformation to hide her real appearance, as she was just hiding her cloak, walking around without any piercings. As the man, despite being old, could use chakra, he was asking her at least to not cause any trouble. She told him that she will not. She just wanted to know, why do they respect him so much? Was it because of the things that he gave them? Was it because of all the things that he done? Is that the reason? Just because of the things? But the man told her no. It was a hope. As Naruto Uzumaki was able to inscribe hope in everyone's heart when they thought all of it was for naught. But yet he gave them back hope. He gave them health. He gave them jobs, things to do around the nations. One boy, who had grown into a man, was able to change so many people's life. Konan left as she made her way towards other, smaller villages. There was a lot of them. Over the past couple of years, she and Nagato had done nothing like this. They wanted to change the world, but yet they were causing more harm than they were doing. And he, just a young man, was doing so much for the people. At Konoha, as Naruto was dragged into another boring council meeting, which he rather came to despise. These things were just boring. Haku told him that she can attend them for him. After all, being in second in command, she was in charge once he left the village or once he was out somewhere else. Clan heads did not take missions anymore, but Naruto would find himself going crazy if he just sat home doing paperwork constantly over and over. Yet he was able to go through them, and it was a lot. As the girls were there, Fu was planning on having a romantic night with Naruto, as the districts in Konoha were being helped. A lot of the people that were on the streets of the orphanage were being fixed up. The orphanage that Naruto was living at when he was younger was the most pristine, but there were some others around. As Naruto was making sure all of them got help, all of the people in the streets, a woman came by as she saw Naruto. Her mother was in charge of the fixing, as her mother had told her who was behind all this, who was behind all the fundings. But Naruto wasn't in it for the praise. He just wanted to make sure the people, he wanted to make sure that all of them had somewhere to go, had food in their stomach. As Naruto went out on a mission with Sasuke, a mission that could, well, go overboard. Sasuke could handle it by himself, but Naruto just needed to stretch his legs. As the both of them left the village, they made their way towards Riga, where he was threatening a couple of villages. Riga seemed rather psychopathic, or it was his religion to bury people once he finished fighting them. He buried them alive. That was rather crazy, as he had a boy named Ranmaru. As Naruto outclassed Riga at everything that he did, as Ranmaru begged Naruto not to kill Riga, as Naruto saw a glance of Haku and Zabuza. It was difficult for Haku to get past everything for a long while, and this boy really seemed to look up to Riga, and Riga cared about the boy as well. So Naruto decided to take him back to Kiri. Well, that is what he was going to do in the first place. But perhaps he could talk to Mizukage, after all he knew her, as Sasuke tagged along as he made the way. As he arrived towards Kiri, Sasuke realized that Naruto knew more people here than he was letting on, as most people were nodding at him and smiling at him, and even waving at him. Sasuke wondered what the hell was going on, but Naruto seemed to just laugh and smile back and wave. As they made their way towards the tower, the Mizukage was waiting on them. So yeah guys, so it's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So this begins new episode. Where did you go? Said Nagato. As we begin this episode, the hidden rain. As Nagato was currently looking at Konan. Something personal, she said as she looked towards him. He wouldn't pry, as it was something personal towards her. But he had to ask. I'm guessing whatever it was, it wasn't suited in your favor. What do you mean? She asked. You have been upset. She looked towards him. What are you talking about? She said, her face looking quite neutral. Konan, you can't hide it from me. Your actions, your subtle movements. You're upset. Why is that? I assure you I'm fine. You must be overthinking things, she said, in a calm, level tone. Her face betraying nothing at the moment. I am sure that my eyes are not deceiving me. But I will not pry if you don't want me to, he said. With that, he went quiet. Konan was indeed upset. Really upset. As her mind was bothering her. Her mind was perplexed. She didn't know what to think or what to say on the matter that she was feeling at the moment. Things were spiraling out of control with her thoughts. It was weird. Nagato and her, they want to bring peace to the world. In doing so, they would create an ultimate weapon that would force everyone into peace. But yet, she's been around. There has been 20 plus villages that one man, Naruto Uzumaki, he went to 20 plus villages and helped them all. From smaller to larger nations. Villages that were not consist as great nations, but they were large. People that seemed to have lost hope at first had smiles on their faces, happiness. She went as far as to try to find any deception, casting a subtle genjutsu on most of the members, in the minds of the people to try to find out if they had any resentment towards him if he tried anything out of the way, if he tried to take anything from them that they didn't want it, if this was all an act, but nothing, no one had anything bad to say about him. She was angry because she thought everything she and Nagato was doing is wrong. Because what they were doing was not bringing peace, but yet he was calming the nations. Kiri just exit out of their civil war not too long ago, given that it was going on for years. It wasn't that long, and it was in doing his training trip, she had a feeling that he had to do something about that. Kumo was on good terms with Konoha. The only place that they were not on good terms with was the Hidden Stone. The Sand was on good terms with them. Taki was on good terms with them. The world was at a standstill. The world was peaceful at the moment. Only the missing names that have been going down and down because of him, because of the one they call Kami. She walked away as she arrived towards the edge of the village, looking over the rain pelting on her. She didn't mind it though. As she stood there, an image of Yaiko was floating, looking down the village. He had a smile on his face, a rather happy smile. Yaiko wants him to protect the Hidden Rain. He wants him to protect his village. That is the reason they created the Akatsuki. But now they want to protect the entire world. But she had a feeling that what they were doing was wrong. Incredibly so after seeing what one man could do on his own. He was powerful, but he did not have the Rinnegan like Nagato. As she could see that with power he could still change people's mind. He was not forcing or pushing his action or his will on people. He was talking to them through the genjutsu that she casts. The people were able to play out the conversation in front of her eyes. The conversation that he had with them. He was charming, sweet, nice. Never raising his voice despite many people saying that he should get out of here. That what he was doing was just a waste of time. But even them came to see that his actions were real. He did not mean them any harm. He only wished to help. As Konan sat down, her heart was conflicted on the matters of the Akatsuki, and what they were doing. And she was confused. She's never been so confused in her life before, but now she was confused. Because she didn't know if they were doing the right thing anymore, and she didn't know what to do. Meanwhile, at Kiri, Sasuke was surprised. Yes, he was. Hinata was beautiful. Really so. The relationship had started out with small talks, despite neither of them saying that they were going out or calling themselves boyfriend or girlfriend. There was something there. Having talks and lunch together, dates, but they never referred to it as such. Sasuke didn't want to think improper thoughts about things that haven't happened yet, but this girl, no, this woman in front of him, was just stunning. You're drooling, said Naruto. Sasuke eyed twitched. No. He wouldn't let Naruto embarrass him in front of this amazing woman that you could only describe as a goddess. I mean, who wouldn't drool, said Naruto. After all, when your eyes fall on beauty that precedes anything, you have to, said Naruto. The woman blushed. That surprised Sasuke. Despite everything, she was a Kage. Naruto was powerful in his own right, but he was just a clan head for his clan. He wasn't up to that level, yet he was speaking to her so casually. Well, I must say, if you keep on charming me like this, how can I control myself, Naruto-kun, she said. She even called him with such familiar suffix. Well, a part of me wished to say that I don't want you to, said Naruto. That would be the best thing for you and I. You think so, she said, as she gave him a smile. A rather beautiful smile as Sasuke felt his heartstrings constrict a bit. Yet as he looked at this beautiful goddess in front of him, his mind started to drift back towards Hinata. That was weird. Yes, that was really weird. He's never think about any of the girls at the academy like this before. What was this, he thought to himself. So, are you gonna introduce me, she asked. Well, said Naruto. Seems that the Uchiha is lost in his daydream. I'm fine, Sasuke said. Well, this is my good friend, Sasuke Uchiha, said Naruto. Ah, an Uchiha, she said. As she looked over Sasuke, her gaze seemed to just pounce on him. Like a predator pounced on its prey. It seems that the younger generation is getting more handsome by the second, she said, causing Sasuke to get a bit flustered. As the woman laughed at that, a sweet laugh that just sounded like beautiful music to your ear. Calm down, me, said Naruto. He can't handle your charms. He might just explode. Well, I'm sure someone with his good looks has been getting a lot of attention since he was younger. I'm sure he'll be doing just fine, she said. Isn't that right, Sasuke-kun? If I may, she said. Yeah, Sasuke said, looking quite flustered. What the hell was wrong with him? He doesn't usually act this way. As Naruto started to laugh, that pissed Sasuke off as he stepped back into reality. As he scowled. Oh, don't scowl, said me. Face as yours, should not scowl that way, she said to him. Forcing Sasuke to scowl and yet at the same time try not to. That made Naruto laugh even more, as he was having a lot of fun at Sasuke's confusing situation. So Naruto-kun, you have given me enough time, and I must say, I really appreciate it. And that Sasuke was interested in. What did he do for this woman? What did he do for this place? Please, sit, she said. There was 2 chairs already there for them. As Naruto sat down and then Sasuke, I heard you brought in Riga, and the young one that he was carrying, Ranmaru. Yes, said Naruto. I know that you wanted the 7 ninja swordsmen to return to the village for a long time now. I know that Riga's done some horrible things. But if you can find a way without killing him, I'd really appreciate it, said Naruto. And why the sudden interest in the well-being of him, she asked. Well, the sweet child with him doesn't want to be taken away from his father-like figure, said Naruto. And besides, if anyone can find the good in a person, it's you. Well, I am a good judge of character, she said. I was planning on recalling all of them, but the remaining ones are so hard to find, and how little they are. I will talk to him myself personally. I will give him a chance. She glanced towards Sasuke. It seems like you want to ask something. Speak your mind. What's going on, Sasuke said. How do you know each other? Well, said Naruto. Once I defeated Orochimaru, his base, they were unoccupied, with anyone truly to lead them. And one of them, on my training trip, I came across this young man, said Naruto. His name was Shigetsu. He belonged to Kiri, but in the mishap, throughout everything he was taking, being used as a test subject. But when I got here to bring him back, just as a sign of good faith towards the Mizukage here, well, you knew what was going on already. Said me, interrupting Naruto, but you decided to just check it out. You can be quite clever at times, Naruto-kun, she said. As I was saying, said Naruto, as I came here, the civil war was taking part, but the other nations refused to join in. After all, think about it, Sasuke. Would you try to help the rebels, knowing that the Mizukage has all of his forces and all of his envoys? People were confused and afraid on what to do on the matter, knowing that if they risk joining their ninjas in the fray, their villages will be targeted. So, seems like an unnamed shinobi wearing a mask came in and decided to help the rebels. Sasuke quickly put two and two together as he looked towards Naruto. That was all he said. Quite a sweet talker, aren't you, said me, caused him to fluster once again. As Naruto laughed, well, said B, Naruto here was kind enough to let me and my village regrow itself and return things to normal. He gave us enough time. And to repay someone's kindness, I figure having the Leaf as an ally would be better than anything else, she said. And throughout the past years, Kiri's military force, population returned back to normal, little by little. I know already. I will be sending a letter to your Kage soon. Have a proper chat with her. But it's been a while since you've been here. Shall we catch up? She asked. Fine by me, said Naruto. I kinda miss this place, he said with a smile. Time skip. As both Naruto and Sasuke left Kiri, as they stayed at the village for a day and a half, Sasuke would have liked to return earlier, but Naruto insists that they stay a bit more. Sasuke didn't know what Naruto did the entire time, because Naruto went off and he could not find him, and that pissed him off because he didn't know anyone here. Well, he did meet a few people, and that guy Kojiro offered to show him around. It was strange at first, but Sasuke simply shrugged it off, and he must say Kiri was a wonderful place. Not as glamorous as Konoha though, but good in its own right, as they were currently making their way back to the village. You're not gonna tell me, Sasuke asked. About what, said Naruto. Where you've been the entire time. Well, I was taking in sights here and there, said Naruto. Seems you and the Mizukage are quite close, said Sasuke. It seems that way, said Naruto. Well, when she does come to Konoha, I'm sure she will tell them who's responsible in helping them end the civil war. Let me guess. That person also took down Yagura. Given the person's young age, Yagura was a Kage, it was rather difficult at first. But once he got in tune with things, yes, he was able to take down Yagura. And when was this, Sasuke asked. About 2.5 years ago. As you can see, Kiri is back to a good state at first. A lot of the places were just rubbles. In 2.5 years, they managed to get things running once again, and now they can even branch out to other nations. You know I know it's you, right? Said Sasuke. I have no idea what you're talking about, said Naruto, as he raised his hand, stopping Sasuke before Sasuke could say anything else. Well. Seems like you also have the knack to sense anyone close by. As Sasuke looked up as he saw a masked man in a tree, watching him. The man was standing there. He chose to stay a distance away from them, as he was just watching them. Who the hell are you? Sasuke asked, as he looked towards the masked man. He felt the pressure beside him increase, as the air around him seemed to just get a bit hotter. You. I take it you want to die now, said Naruto. After all, last time you got away. And you dare show yourself in front of me. Calm down, Kyuubi Jinchuriki. I'm just here to talk. Sasuke put together as he looked at the robe. You're with the Akatsuki, he said. Seems your friend isn't that far off. As Naruto cracked his neck. This time, you won't leave. I suggest you calm down. I said I'm just here to talk. I don't care what you have to say. Oh, I'm sure you will care about this. Sasuke, the masked man said. There's something that you need to know. Me? Sasuke said. Yes, this also involves you, Kyuubi Jinchuriki. You will understand how rotten your village is, down to the core. You'll understand that there's a problem festering in your village. And that problem has to do with the Uchiha massacre. Sasuke's eyes hardened. What are you talking about, he asked. Oh dear boy, he said. The massacre was a mission. First of all, Sasuke blinked in confusion. A mission? Sasuke, don't believe him, said Naruto. This guy is a liar. A liar who would twist anything to get what you want. Just like all the other Akatsuki members are. I might be a liar, but this is the truth. I assure you. You must know of Danzo Shinra by now. And know that he's not, well, a good person. The most important thing you must know is, he was the one that gave Itachi the mission to exterminate your clan. It was either your clan or all of you, including you, Sasuke. But yet your big brother chose to keep you alive by wiping out your clan because they were planning a coup. What? Said Sasuke, completely shocked. As Naruto clenched his fist, the ground under his feet twisted. As Tobi noticed that. Yes, it was all a mission, Sasuke, said Tobi, as he got ready. They did it. Because your clan was not getting enough from the village, and always getting speculated and hated for things that they didn't even commit. Not to mention the attack. With the Nine Tails attack, things got worse. Your clan was being singled out. An attack that you caused, said Naruto. I see you're well informed, the masked man said. How did you know? I don't have to tell you anything, said Naruto, as he clenched his fist, as he got himself ready. Believe me when I say it though, Sasuke, it was a mission. And you and your clan were just a means to an end. Well, your brother. Risk his life, risk his sanity, risk everything to make sure that you survive. And yet all this time you have been after him to kill him, when he only wanted good for her. As Obito came to a pause as Naruto moved, only took a second for him to catch up to him. As Tobi Sharingan swirled to suck him away to his dimension, but Naruto had moved too fast. As Naruto got caught up in it as he was sucked away, the both of them blimping out of sight. Sasuke stood there alone, his mind reeling amongst the information that he just got. A distance away, Zetsu was watching the entire encounter. Hundreds of white Zetsus were currently in the ground. It was just a precaution just in case. They were literally Earth itself. There was no way that Naruto was able to sense those. So, they decided to still hide within the trees and the ground, just to make sure. But, this worked out better than he thought. Tobi got him, in his dimension. The Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki was done for. Meanwhile, as Naruto looked around confused. What is this, he said. I must say, my expectations for Day was not that big. I knew you would try something, but your speed seemed to be the downfall of you today. A speed that even rivaled your father while he's using his Harashin. A speed that just got you caught. I must say, I never expected this. But thank you. You were the last puzzle and the most difficult piece to catch. But you've fallen right into my trap. Now, you cannot stop me from acquiring the other tail pieces. You think this can hold me, said Naruto as he looked around. It seems you don't understand the situation that you're in. This is not a mere place. This is something that you, not even you, can escape. And it seems you aren't aware of what I can fully do, said Naruto. I assure you, whatever this is, this dimension of yours, it won't hold me. Yes, I know that you're quite tricky with your space-time ninjutsu. But I assure you, you can't leave this place. And you won't be able to. While you sit here, I will be collecting the other tail beasts to make sure everything goes towards the Akatsuki plan. The way you speak seems like you're in charge, said Naruto. The masked man said nothing. Well then, guess I'll have to just kill you first. Once you remove the head of a snake, the body goes limp. And that includes the rest of the Akatsuki members. Naruto moved. Toby leaped away as the cube that he was standing on was obliterated by a single punch. Quite the monstrous strength, said Toby, but that won't help you here. I will return for you in some time. Until then, manage not to go insane or die. And with that, he disappeared in a swirling vortex. As he appeared, Sasuke was looking around frantically, as he didn't know where the hell Naruto had gone or what was going on. Ah, I see you haven't gone far. You, where's Naruto? He's currently indisposed, said Toby. What did you do to him, Sasuke? As he pulled his blade. Nothing to fight about. He was going to be taken one way or another. But you, Sasuke, this is your chance to finally know the truth, to know everything. What I told you is not a lie. You, your clan, all of you, your actions, everything has been used. To keep you loyal to Konoha, the truth was kept away from you. To force you to be the last Uchiha to repopulate your clan inside the village walls, so that your clan could be controlled by the village. Yes, it was all a trick. All a scheme to control you. Donzo Shimura, that man, he took everything away from you and your clan. He made your brother the enemy, while he was not. Your brother decided to take on that role, but still, he's not completely innocent, because he did slaughter most of the members. And how the hell do you know this? Because I was there that night. I was there to witness it all unfold. Your brother needed help, and I was there to help him. So as you see, Sasuke, all of this was a trick. So you're telling me that you also killed my people, Sasuke said. Yes, I won't lie to you, unlike the others. But you need to know the truth. So what now, Sasuke says. He got himself ready. Oh, I don't wish to harm you. I just gave you a piece of the truth. When you realize that I'm right, I'll be there to find you. And there you can make your decision, for you to see that Konoha is not the right place for you. Where the hell is Naruto, Sasuke said. As I said, he was indisposed. I'm afraid he won't be coming back. Try to inform his people. With that, the masked man was gone, and not a trace was left behind. Sasuke quickly made his way back to... He paused. He was going to go back to Konoha. He shook his head. He would ignore what the man said to him for now. He had to get back to the village and inform them about this. They had to get Naruto back, as he had no idea where Naruto was. Time skip. You did what? Said Tendo. His voice was filled with surprise. Konan stood there as well. Her face was blank, but on the inside she was thinking other things. Seems like his speed was his downfall this time. He is currently locked away by yours truly, so that takes him off the board. So with us going after the other Jinjulkis, it shouldn't be that hard anymore. And you caught him off guard. That easily, said Konan. Well, I didn't catch him off guard. He was just too hasty, and too fast, I must add. Even faster than his father, while using a technique of his. He would have been quite the trouble, the masked man said. It did not matter in the end, because I would have taken care of him, said Nagato, speaking through Tendo. Well, I'm sure you would have. Nagato was about to say something on that, but then the masked man turned his head confused. Something was wrong, as the city started to shake. Tendo walked up towards the balcony, making his way as he stood. As the water in the air started to evaporate. What the hell is going on, said Konan, as she felt the tremor. It felt like her insides were shaking as well. It wasn't just a city. No, it was not. As sudden, the ground twisted as Zetsu came out. Something is wrong, he said. It was currently late in the afternoon, it was still light out. The sky turned pitch black, blocking out everyone's view for a second before it returned back to normal. The air started to twist. The earth itself was shaking. "What's going on?" Konan said. She looked around. As the masked man narrowed his eyes, something was wrong. He could feel it. As the air itself started to tear, literal rip in the air. As purple energy was seeping from everywhere. Screams could be heard all over the hidden rain, but not just the hidden rain, at Konoha. "What the hell?" said Snaddy as she stepped on the top of her building. Looking around, panic was going on as the entire place was shaking. The sky had just blocked out for a moment. It was like the sun had completely shut itself off. And there was a monkey compound. The girls were confused. "This is Seitewe." Yeah, as the others felt as well. This was Naruto, the feeling, the presence. But it was not calm. Naruto was always usually calm and collected, but this was wild, out of control. It felt like rage as Fu shivered. She never felt him this angry before, but all of them could feel it. As Haku was trembling a bit as well. It was him. Something was wrong. Something was incredibly wrong. At Kiri, "What the hell?" said me. As a ninja flashed into her office. "Ma'am." As he reported to her, May's eyes went wide. The entire Eastern Sea was going out of control. Massive tidal waves were heading towards the village. Her eyes went wide as she quickly barked out orders. At the hidden stone, the place was trembling. Oniki got out of his office as he looked over his village. As the atmosphere itself seemed to be twisting and rippled, the air itself seemed to be rippling. As he watched as a rift in time and space ripped open in front of him, a strange purple energy seeping out of it. Before it locked once again, the sky dimmed once again and it seemed like the sun itself was dimming, out of control. Day turned into night. As the place turned cold, incredibly so, the atmosphere started to change. It turned hot. It then turned still, no breeze at all. The air then got thin, very, very thin, causing many people hard to breathe, but then returned back to normal. Meanwhile, at the hidden rain, Obi stood there. "It's him," he said, as he quickly sucked himself in his swirling vortex. He arrived towards the scene as he trembled to his knees. A force that was unlike anything he felt before was seeping all over his dimension. His dimension was cracking, it was being obliterated. "Stop this!" he shouted as Naruto was in the center of all of this. He was screaming to the heavens. Well, the heavens is dimension. The purple engine in his body was swirling out of control. As his dimension started to crack apart, all the blocks started to fall to nothingness. "You're destroying the outside world, stop this!" As Naruto calmed down, as he took a breath, stepping forward, as the block that he was standing on melts to nothingness. As he was walking in mid-air, his entire body was cloaked in that purple energy. "I told you couldn't hold me," said Naruto. As he raised his hand and clenched his palm, the dimension rattled out of control. "Release me," said Naruto. As Obito was forced to do as he said, as a swirling vortex sucked Naruto out of the dimension and dropped him where he picked him up. Obito panted where he was. As he couldn't believe it. He couldn't understand. Just what kind of power does Naruto Uzumaki control? This didn't make any sense. The world returned back to normal. Luckily, no one was hurt in the aftermath. The sea went down. Nothing happened. The building stopped shaking. Everything returned back to normal. It was light. It happened for a moment and then it returned back to normal. Many people were still afraid as they thought the world was going to end. Yes, they were afraid out of their mind. But the masked man stood there, completely shaken by the scene that just happened. How could one person be able to affect the entire world like that? The only thing that you read about that can do something of this quantity was a Jobi. And yet Naruto was only one man. But how? He made his way back towards the hidden rain. What the hell just happened? Said Tendo. I released him. So it was him, said Tendo. Yes, said Obito as he was looking through the narrow walkway. He was able to shake the entire world while in my dimension. Seems we're underestimating him. As Konan was silent, how was that even possible? One man. How could one man shake the entire world while being sealed away somewhere else? She glanced towards Tendo's body. Nagato was powerful, but even him have his limits. She was under no false thoughts to think that Nagato could do something like that. Yes, he could create a moon. He could use gravitational force, he could do many things. But to shake the entire world while being sealed somewhere else. The thoughts seemed ridiculous, not just ridiculous, impossible, yet they just saw it, right in front of them. Right, out in the open. She couldn't believe it. She knew that he was strong. But just how her mind couldn't even come with a proper way to think about what the hell just happened. The masked man sucked himself away in a swirling vortex. Without saying another word, he was gone. Not even talking to them before he did. As he looked quite afraid despite wearing a mask. His whole demeanor had changed. The confidence that he had of sealing Naruto away was completely gone. This new development was going to change many things. Meanwhile, as Naruto stood on his feet, he took several deep breaths. As he calmed himself. It was hard to calm himself, it was the power inside of him. It felt like he was bottled up. It has been a long time since he had to push himself to actually enter cosmic mode. Recently, the energy and strength being granted to him by just growing over the past 3 years was enough to handle his enemies. As he showed that to Sasuke while fighting him. While fighting Sasuke, the world itself was twisting in and rift or opening right in front of them. Because whenever he pushed it too far, it seems like he was in danger of trying to rip the world apart. He had his power under control, but sometimes his emotions get the better of him. Like just a moment ago, he was trying to tear the dimension apart, and his power was doing such. But he was also trying to rip the world apart as well. He had to keep calm most of the times, or he was spiraled out of control. And that was something no one wanted, because it wouldn't be good for the entire world. He placed his hand down on the earth. Purple energy seeped from his palm as it spread out everywhere. As Sasuke was hopping from tree branch to tree branch after that whole chaos event, he had to get to Konoha as quickly as possible. Sasuke paused. Naruto, he said, looking around. Return back to where we last saw that masked man. And the voice cut. Sasuke turned back as he made his way back. Meanwhile, around the nation, all the repairs start to happen instantly. The broken ground, some of the buildings that got cracked because of the little tremble, they start to repair themselves. The earth felt warm. A feeling of calm set over everyone. A pleasant feeling of happiness as Naruto cosmic energy washed over the entire planet, fixing everything that he did wrong. As Naruto removed his hand, he looked toward his hand as he flexed it for a bit. It wasn't easy to do something like that, but yet, he got to his feet before his mind was hit. What the hell was that, a boy said? You woke me from my nap. What the hell's going on? Nothing for you to concern yourself about, Kurama, said Naruto. I assure you, everything is fine. You lost your temper, and you woke me from my nap. You don't usually lose your temper that quickly. It must be that masked man. He's shown himself again in front of you. Yes, but he got away, said Naruto. I told you what I told you because I know you'd be the best person to handle him. But losing control won't get you anywhere. Not to mention, if you can't catch him, how would you make him pay for what he did to your parents? Don't worry, I'll catch him soon enough, said Naruto. I just lost it for a moment there. It won't happen again. Have your rest, said Naruto. As Kurama simply snorted, as he simply cut the connection. Kurama didn't seem to give much about anything else that was going on. He just wanted to rest. Not being confined in humans, that was strange because when he was trapped inside Naruto, he mostly slept. So mostly sleeping while he was out was rather strange. The people over a nation were confused. Many of them thought it was coming, as he was the only one that they could think of could do something like this, to repair all damage that he was causing, even while going on with something that was out of their control. They were sure that he was facing off against someone, but it was over now because the world was back at calm, and yet everything returned back to normal. The cracked buildings, the cracked earth, it was repaired in seconds. Yes, it must be coming, watching over them despite fighting. He was a wonderful person through and through, people thought themselves, even at the hidden arena as Konan watched. As some of the chipped skyscrapers returned back to normal, as she felt it, the feeling of that energy. Even Nagato felt it, and it disturbed him for a moment because it felt so calm. How could one be so pure and yet had the power to destroy everything? Nagato was still shocked. How was that even possible? It still didn't make any sense to him that Naruto was able to shake the foundation of the planet. From where he was, it made absolutely no sense to him. He clenched his fists. People going around calling him Kami. He was the only god here. It seems that Naruto Uzumaki need to know that. But it wasn't time yet. They haven't even gone collecting the other tail pieces yet. Something they need to work on immediately, because time was running out, and the more time they wait, the stronger Naruto Uzumaki gets. Meanwhile, what the hell just happened, said Sasuke. Well, that guy tried to trap me somewhere, said Naruto, but I got out, nothing for you to worry about. I know you must be concerned about what he said, but Sasuke, you shouldn't believe that guy. Sasuke clenched his fists. What if he's telling the truth? If he is, I intend to find out. I made you a promise all those years ago, that I will help you defeat Itachi, that I will help you gain back the pride that you lost at having your family being taken away from you. And if it is someone else that took it all away from you, we will go after them as well. I know this Danzo Shimura, and what that masked man said, it wasn't wrong. That man's a twisted, corrupted man who is dark, very, very dark. And if he does have something to do with this, it's time that we took care of Danzo Shimura. Sasuke simply nodded, as he wanted to find out as well. With that, they made their way back towards the village. Meanwhile, at the hidden stone, Gramps, what the hell? Said Kurotsuchi as she looked towards the man. As Oniki sat there. It's him, he said. Come on, Gramps. We know he's strong, but for him to be able to do something like this, it's him. I'm sure it's him, Oniki said, as the man was scowling. But this is not a direct attack on us, said Kurotsuchi. No. From what my envoys have been able to gather, it's everywhere. Do you think he's fighting someone? I do not know, said Oniki. But this power, at one man's disposal, it shouldn't be possible. And I still don't think it is, Kurotsuchi said. I mean, I know it's powerful, but still. The entire world? It doesn't make any sense. As Oniki sat there, looking thoughtful, Kurotsuchi knew who Naruto Uzumaki was, of course, as the both of them had a personal meeting in the past. Something that ticked her off to this day, the humiliation. Flashback. As Kurotsuchi was sent on a mission, she was the one in charge of the mission. They were passing through the land of rivers. Given that it was close to Konoha, they did not take any stops or ease at that point. The hidden stone was humiliated badly when they had to pay Konoha and Kumo, so they wouldn't be destroyed. They had to pay a lot of money. Many shinobis had to take on many missions after that, and they also lost a lot of their members when they attacked Konoha. Oniki should be grateful that his village wasn't attacked, but yet the man was pissed off. As he felt humiliated, he had to close his borders because things wasn't so good for him at that time. Kurotsuchi also felt the humiliation as well, as her grandfather was put through that. When she was Kage, things would be different. Yes, things would be different, of course. She was leading her team. They came to a stop as she raised her hand. The center of the group looked towards her as a man nodded over to the right. Someone was here out alone. given the fact that they were near to land a fire. Perhaps it was a Konoha shinobi or a group. No one would know, after all. The Hidden Stone wouldn't dare try something after the last attack. But she would find whoever this was, especially if it was a Konoha shinobi and make them pay. They were also responsible despite if they were not there or not. As she and her team quickly made their way, she and 4 others. Her teammates weren't that special or anything. But she was special, of course. She was a granddaughter of the Tishikage. Quite powerful in fact. As she arrived though, as all of them came to a stop, they saw the person out in the open. He was alone. That made things just perfect. As they all surrounded him and she gave him a signal. She pulled a kunai to test the waters. As she saw the pouch. The ninja pouch that he was wearing. His clothing though looked strangely familiar for some reason. Like she's heard about it in a description before. He had long blonde hair. She then saw him remove something off his forehead as he held it in his palm. It was a headband. A Konoha headband. He couldn't be doing that on purpose, could he? She threw her kunai as it embedded right into his back. But yet he did not move. He did not budge as she gave him a signal. As one of them jumped down to investigate what the hell was going on, staying his distance. The sensor could no longer feel anything. The man shook his head towards Kurotsuchi, confused as well. As the member that went to check, watch as the kunai simply fell. It was like his skin had turned into jelly. As the person picked himself up before blurring out of sight. Hey, who are we looking for? Kurotsuki jumped as she turned around a punch as her wrist was grabbed. As she stared into the eyes of Naruto Uzumaki, a quick glance over his face and she realized that she was screwed. Her grandfather had told her to try as best as she could to not come face to face with this man. The title about Kami has been recently going around, something she found rather stupid, as they were calling him Kami, and she didn't believe that he was that strong. As Naruto looked over her, now this is a surprise. The granddaughter of the Tishikage trying to kill a Konoha shinobi. Not to mention me, Naruto Uzumaki. Soon to be clan head, said Naruto, as he looked over her. You know how much problem this could cause. You know how much backlash, said Naruto. This could start a war. A war I'm sure that you don't want, said Naruto. The other members quickly flanked him as he placed kunais at his throat, but yet he did not budge. His eyes still looking to hers, he did not fear them one bit, she could see that. As they looked towards each other, they had to take him out. People could not know about this. Their kunai started to burn as they quickly released them. What the hell? As he stepped back away from him. Not just the kunai's ear around him was getting so hot. But yet Kurotsuki was confused because she wasn't being burned. Don't worry, I won't scar you, said Naruto. I just don't have it in me to hurt a beautiful lady. She glared at him. Let me go, she said. Look, I'm gonna let this slide because if I don't, I'm sure that this is gonna start a whole lot of problems. So, you're gonna let this slide, she said. I would never believe a leaf scum after what you did. After what I've did. You just tried to kill me. And I'm letting this slide. You know what? I'm not gonna let this slide, said Naruto. I want an apology. Never, she said. Oh, do you really want to do this? I hate to boast, but I was able to take down your two Jinjokis. Do you really think your village, whatever you have that remain, can test me, said Naruto. Do you really want a war, he asked. She clenched her fists. This was becoming problematic, as her other ninjas got up. She raised her hand to stop them from doing anything stupid that would cause their deaths. She was a prideful woman who never bowed down to anyone's requests. As she was shaking, she couldn't say it. Alright, fine. If you don't want to apologize, I want a kiss. What? She said. Simple as that, a simple kiss. And I'll forgive you. No, of course not, she said. Naruto released her. Alright, fine then, he said. I'm gonna go back to the village. Sooner than I expected. Let's see how much your grandfather will have to pay. Or, perhaps Konoha will send me there to wreak havoc, said Naruto. That should give you a thought process before thinking of attacking another Konoha shinobi. as he started to walk off. She went through hand sign as she spewed something out of her mouth as it covered Naruto. It was a sticky substance that quickly hardened. I can't have you going around blabbing, she said. I'll have to end this. As the thing shattered, the next thing she knew, he was gone in a blur. All of her members were on the ground unconscious. As Naruto stood in front of her in a blink of an eye, trees rustled around them as the ground cracked and trembled. I just gave you a way out and you still try to attack me, said Naruto. As he stepped forward that made her fall backwards. Her body was trembling beyond out of her control. So what's this gonna be, said Naruto. As she didn't know what to say or do. She was afraid. How could she be afraid? She was Kurotsuki, the granddaughter of Tishikage. Fine, I'll kiss you, she said. That was the first thing that came out of her mouth. He didn't waste time as he pulled her into a kiss. All of that rage was vanished in a second. As she was confused, his lips were so soft. So soft and... She pushed him back. What the hell was she doing? As Naruto smiled. Next time, do not attack any other Konoha shinobi. Just because I don't want a war, I'll let you go, said Naruto as he tapped her in the forehead. He swung after him, as Naruto jumped back playfully. I'm serious, he said. His face was devoid of all emotions. Don't let me see you doing something as stupid as that again. The stone has already failed once. Don't repeat your grandfather's mistake. I'm merciful, but I won't let certain things slide, said Naruto, as his gaze was cold and looked straight into hers. He then smiled. You have soft lips. As he vanished, her cheeks turned a bit red in rage. Back to the present time, Kurotsuki couldn't believe that really happened to her. Her teammates kept their mouths shut after all. If her grandfather knew that he tried something almost get the stone into deep crap once again, they would be punished. She would get out of it not so bad because she was his granddaughter, but they were not related to him at all. Her hand reached up and touched her lip. What the hell? As she shook it off, she turned back to her grandfather. Hey, are you listening to me? The man said. Oh, sorry about that, old man, she said. Guess I just spaced out. Meanwhile, as Naruto and Sasuke arrived at Konoha, they needed answers. Sasuke mostly. But Naruto needed to know what the hell was going on. He needed to know what Danzo knew, and if this was reality. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want something person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. Yeah, I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.